What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and this is a very different video. This is my 7 reasons why Halloween 2 from 1981 is not a direct sequel to the original Halloween. These are my opinions, so my list is going to look different from maybe your list of things of why you don't like Halloween 2 or why it doesn't feel like a direct sequel to the original film. However, you also might think that this movie is a perfect sequel to the original film. Whatever you think down below in the comments, let me know, because I'm very interested in seeing what you guys think about this sequel. This is a movie for me that has been very conflicting. I've watched this movie multiple times, and every time I watch it, I just kind of think to myself, this movie doesn't feel like a true sequel to the original film. This movie is supposed to be set up on the exact same night as the events from the first film, so October 31st, 1978. And there are many things in this movie that prove that this movie doesn't necessarily add up. If this movie is supposed to be just like the first film, or it's supposed to be set in the exact same time as the first film, there's a lot of things that the characters do that don't add up in what they would end up doing logically. So this is my list in no particular order. The first thing off the top is Loomis is reckless. Yes, Dr. Loomis, one of my favorite characters in this film, has no care for authority whatsoever. He's shooting, he's firing his gun off all over the place, like in the street, basically telling the cops what they should do and where they should stick their nose. I mean, he is very all over the place, just very reckless, going from point A to point B. And in the original film, Loomis is a little bit different. Yes, he's seen Michael come out, this patient he's had for years, escape this institution and wreak havoc and start killing teenagers. But the problem that I have with Loomis in this film is that he's so crazy. In the first movie, he's a lot more pushed back. He's more reverent in the way that he carries out his business and the way that he tries to hunt down Michael. He's also very quiet in his demeanor. He is patient, he's understanding, and he listens. And yes, he tells Sheriff Brackett what to do in the original film, but it's not to the point of basically forcing the police to do something for him, which is just kind of out of character for him. It doesn't feel like this character is the exact same character from the first film. We're going to get into the Laurie issue. I have one issue with Laurie in this film. Laurie is too helpless. In the first movie, she fights back a little bit against Michael Myers. She does run, she does hide, it's true, she does scream, she is panicking, but she also has those moments where she does fight back, whether it's the sewing needle in the neck, whether it's her basically making sure that the kids leave, and her basically trying to take down Michael herself, stabbing him, with his own knife. In this movie, she just runs away. And yes, I get it, she's injured, but in the first movie, she's also injured, but she still does a better job of protecting herself. And because at the initial shock of this man, this stranger just coming after her, I feel like would put a lot more pressure on her or make her panic a lot more than in this film, where she already knows that this man's after her. And she has a feeling that he's going to come back and try to find her, and it doesn't make sense to me that she's so helpless throughout this entire movie. She just runs away and she yells for help and cries the entire time, and it just really makes this character of Laurie Strode weak. I don't like it. I wish that she was a little bit stronger in this film, and it definitely pulls me out of this actually feeling like it's from the same exact setting and the same Laurie Strode that we know from the original film. Now, all of the rest of these issues are Michael Myers himself. Michael in this movie, number one, let's just get this out of the way, the mask, okay? The mask, it looks close enough to the original mask, but it's not the same mask. And you can tell, it's a little bit darker in color. The lip is a little bit beaten in or worn down a little bit too much. So the mask really doesn't look the same, and it's very noticeable. And that's just one little technical problem that I have, but still, it doesn't feel genuine to the original film. Michael is also way too slow. He walks as if he's a robot. He walks like the Terminator in this film. Very slow, very deliberate. If you don't believe me, just watch this clip. Yeah, he is so insanely slow. In the first movie, he walks slow, but not slow to the point of him just being robotic. This movie just feels like Michael is just a machine. Honestly, it's kind of funny to see certain characters die from him because he walks so slow. It's like, man, you must be walking insanely slow. You can tell that it's not Nick Castle too, because the size of the Shape in this movie isn't as menacing as the first film, and the walk isn't as deadly or as sinister as the first film. Another big problem for me in this movie is that Michael kills for the sake of killing. In the first movie, he was so deliberate, he was so patient, he observed his prey, he set his specific sights on a few people, and it made it more creepy. It made him be a true antagonist, make it feel a little real. But in this film, it's just like he kills everyone. Anyone who gets in his path, he kills. It reminds me too much of Jason Voorhees, and I don't want my Michael to be like Jason Voorhees because he's not. It bothers me the fact that in this movie, they basically just make him go after Carnage Candy the entire time and cannon fodder. And cannon fodder's cool, but in a Halloween movie, especially if it's supposed to happen the same night, it doesn't make sense. I can understand if maybe he's been gone for a couple of years and he's really pissed off and enraged, and he just goes and kills people, like in Halloween 2018. He's locked up for 40 years. He hasn't been able to kill anybody, and he just has all that rage and all that anger and all that evil and just starts killing a bunch of people. But in this movie, it just doesn't make sense why he would just go one after the other, just killing each person he sees on screen. It's kind of stupid. Another problem is Michael is not very stealthy in this film. Not so stealthy Michael. In the first movie, he was hiding a lot more. He was in the shadows. You couldn't see him. In this movie, he's kind of just out in plain sight. Like, I'll walk in the middle of the street at night with all these people around. Screw it. I don't care. He's also making noises and trying to, like, trick the cannon fodder in this film and certain characters. And it's really weird because in the first movie, one of the best and most haunting images is Laurie in the back up against the wall. And in the darkness, you see Michael's mask emerge. I mean, that is one of the coolest things. In this movie, they try to do it not to the same extent or not to the same effect as in the original film. And so, I don't know, I wish Michael was just kind of more hidden in this film like he was in the first film, and that he would be a little bit more stealthier and a lot quieter. And my last issue, my biggest issue with this film, this is definitely my number one if I had to rank all of these problems. Number one is giving Michael a motive. In the first film, he doesn't have a motive, and it's very well established at the beginning of the film that this guy is just purely evil. He's just killing these innocent teenagers because he wants to. He's preying on them. In this movie, his motive is he needs to kill Laurie because Laurie is his sister. I hate that they shoot that whole thing and it doesn't feel organic at all, that they just kind of shoehorned it in and pushed it in. And for the sake of having a twist that's not even effective at all to the film, you know, I wish that they didn't give Michael a motive because he's scarier when he doesn't have a motive. Giving him a motive really doesn't help his character either, in the sense of him being the same person. In the original film, he's just creepily walking around, going from place to place. In this movie, giving him a motive makes him a separate character from that first movie, so it feels like two individuals as opposed to one character coming together. Anyway, guys, those are my reasons why I think Halloween 2 is not a direct sequel to the original Halloween. Let me know down below your thoughts on this matter. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video, subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. And as always, I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.